Hey everyone, Henry here. Today we have a very special guest from Africa. It's the founder and CEO of GuraRide, which is a bike share service in Rwanda, as well as the founder of many other impactful ventures. Meet Tony Adesina, a person who is really committed to sustainability of e-mobility in Africa. So tell us, how did you become an entrepreneur?
I always wanted to, to dabble into business. It's a thing that I always had a passion for, and I believe I was good in, even at a younger age. From the entrepreneurship spirit that I had. I was just bought stuff and resold them at a high price. Just in retail. Whatever I can get my hands on, and that kind of just followed me. To adulthood. Even though I did study industrial manufacturing engineer, I still always knew that business was my path, and the passion that I have for it.
And you've been in Penn State University. That's pretty cool.
Penn State, I always wanted to go to Penn State, so after high school, obviously I applied, I got accepted, and I had a bit of, I wouldn't say confusion, but, I started with civil engineering, and I did electrical, and I just kind of found a balance and found a comfort zone in industrial manufacturing, because that's the closest you can get to business and engineering, so that was pretty cool.
And where is this passion for electric vehicles coming from?
I actually started, really taking a closer look into EVs, with Tesla. I thought, the model they had and the products were pretty cool. Mm-hmm. And then our focus was always on Africa and how we can make Africa a better place and, have some kind of impact. So, when we found a niche in the system where, electric mobility was needed to cut down on massive pollution, we pretty much just keyed into it.
And how did you start with e-mobility?
No, we had the e-mobility project at hand for quite a while, but it was pretty much trying to figure out what country would best fit. Obviously you need electricity and you need government support, because it's something new to Africa as a whole. So coming into Rwanda, it was just great because they had a Vision Green transport already, so everything was kind of already in line. There's stability in the country, and there's also electricity. So this was just a perfect place for us to make home, while we kind of export into everything else in other countries that we can point out that can accept the similar system they were offering.
Why Rwanda as the first location?
I want to say dedication. Pretty determined. We keyed into this sector of e-mobility and the different arms to it. You have logistics, you have ride share, you have bike share, you have EV charging stations. They're all linked in a way. Both those still kind of separated. And for us, there's a need in the market, obviously, for this. So we put on a lot of time and effort, a lot of time in R&D to have a working system, which we'll bring into the market, well tested. Again, I think the biggest thing here is just having, support from the government to really want to implement this in terms of policies and things of that nature. So it makes things a bit easier because Rwanda is very big on cutting down pollution and, green, saving the environment. So transportation is a key, area where we have to focus on in terms of trying to reduce the, carbon emission and the diesel operated vehicles and maybe, gravitate more towards EVs.
And is there government support?
So the support-wise, support is pretty big. They're pretty hands-on. Again, most of these things, it revolves around policies. Once the policies are in place, it makes things a bit easier.
So tell us about the Safi brand.
Yes, our Safi model, it's under our SUL flagship, which pretty much assembles everything here locally. And, we have a big portion of our team which are made up of women. We're pretty big on women empowerment and, getting them more involved in the green space. And it's pretty exciting because they're doing pretty well in terms of assembling, technicians and even riding. That's something they're really picking up on. So we're right now, we're still in the middle of training now. And we're actually setting up our advanced training course. It's one of a kind in I want to say in Africa, where we can train, new riders and existing riders because of one of our core values is actually safety, which is one of the biggest problems we currently have right now. The accident rate is extremely high, not just in Rwanda, I think across Africa with motorbikes. So the idea of the advanced training course is, one, to teach them how to use electric motorcycles, secondly, to emphasize again the importance of safety when on the road. So the project is ongoing. We're going to market officially, I want to say beginning of September, which our main thing obviously is rideshare. You can just request using our mobile app. And, you can pick up and drop off, anytime. You can schedule rides ahead of time. So it's pretty interesting, especially having women riders.
And the SafiRide and the SafiRun?
Yes, that's what SafiRide is. The ride share, which is pretty much Uber or like Move for Volkswagen. Where you can pretty much request any point in time you want. SafiRun is more on the logistic arm of things, dealing with restaurants, pharmacies, pick up and drop off, personal errands, and obviously using EVs and EV vans, EV scooters, and things of that nature. So we're really trying to lock in the market in terms of logistics across the board, not just food and restaurants.
So how is it like introducing such service in Africa?
For us, we've been here for quite some time now, a little over 2 years, because we understand that in order to make this work, it wasn't a visit kind of approach. We have to literally move in here, understand the culture, understand how people think and process, and understand, even if we have all these great ideas, it has to be able to fit within the system, accepted by the people. So over the course of time, we're able to make a lot of readjustments to some of our approach and what we thought would have initially worked out. Which obviously, dealing with culture and things of that nature, we had to kind of tweak some of those things around. So I don't think it's a culture shock because Rwandans are pretty, they're pretty accepted for anything that moves the country forward. If you talk about not even using plastic bags, it's something that's eradicated from the system for a couple of years now. The streets are extremely clean. You don't see trash anywhere. So it's a country that if it moves the country forward, citizens are all for it.
Tell us about your team.
Yeah, we mostly we have a lot of locals. We have mostly locals. We really enjoy working with young folks. With bright minds. Just really dedicated and looking to learn and grow. So we pretty much we surround ourselves with young individuals like that. Because they really have bright ideas. If you get the right core group together. So that's pretty much our approach. We do have some of our folks that came in from overseas. You have some visiting, and then you have a few that are permanently here. But we're mostly made up of locals.
And how is it like to be a CEO?
I think it's leadership by example. You come in early, we leave last. Obviously it's our brand, right? So it's expected to put in more work. But I think your work ethic speaks volumes. When your team see how much time, how focused you are. In getting these work done and how involved you are with their day-to-day and understanding everything that's going on every single time within the workspace, that really motivates them to want to do better and bring their best to the table.
What keeps you going?
For us, we're survivors, man. If you can thrive in the Nigerian market, and I think you can live and survive anywhere. And making that at the point in time when we decided to move down here and pursue this, we had our mind made up, so nothing was going to deter us from our goal, and we're pretty set on that in terms of being on track. I think for the most part we do is work because it's quite demanding, but the end results I believe will justify the means. So
what are your current plans?
Just knowing how close we are with SafiRun. We're going to be kicking off this month with GuraRide. We are starting, I want to say, I don't want to call it a pilot. It's a bit bigger than a pilot. We're starting with 100 fleet of bikes, which are also on ground now. With the training center, it's pretty much in construction now. We're going to be ready this month as well. August. Then SafiRide is going to be top of September. So this is like going to market season for us and fully kicking off. So all the hard work and seeing everything coming to fruition now, it's pretty exciting. So that keeps us going every day, and just kind of seeing the excitement on our team's face, every time be able to bring something good to the table and watching the young women, really learning how to deassemble a complete bike in like 40 minutes and put it back together in like 50. And they have no prior experience to this. It's really, really, it's exciting.
Now, who is the person that inspires you the most?
Oh, I got Jack Ma for sure.
Jack Ma, okay.
Yeah, he's I like his story. I love anything that's from ground up. Any individual that built something from scratch. I can relate to that. So I always love those success stories. Because obviously you fail so many times, And then, very few, quite a handful able to get back up and give it another shot. So I really love his story. I mean, generally, when you look at Microsoft and all those guys, they all have similar stories. Starting from the garage. You look at Jeff Bezos, what he's been able to do. In just a short period of time, it's quite impressive. So those guys, looking at what they do, I don't believe there's nothing I can't do once I set my mind to it. So that's just always my approach.
What's your favorite quote?
Yeah, I think for me, my code, yes. I want to say, hard work pays off. Take no day off. It's one of my little saying. But most importantly, I think over time, I fell in love with impact. And not just necessarily, I think anybody can have a great idea or, anybody's capable of making money, but I think the impact, aspect of it is really what does it for me. That's where I felt, some sense of fulfillment, creating an impact wherever I find myself. And job creation, this is pretty huge for me.
You also do a lot with charity.
Yes. The idea of We Care Rwanda, which we're fully gonna, once we have everything up and running, the idea of We Care Rwanda is on a monthly basis. We just kind of key into where there's, we want to get more kids in school. You want to keep them in school. Families don't really have, or they're struggling. Just to kind of reach out to them and let them know that there are people out there that care. And just some sort of relief package, whether it's food items or personal items. We can do that on a monthly basis. I don't think it's just when we go through a pandemic, we should reach out to our neighbors. I think it should be a continuous thing. No matter how small it is, it makes a lot of difference.
What books can you recommend?
I gotta confess, I'm not a book reader. Right. I'm not a book person. I think for me, I do more research. Mm-hmm. And when I say research, I think for me, I look a lot into tech. And just kind of see what's out there, what innovative ideas out there. I don't think there's anything tech-wise that hasn't been done before at this point, but it's just like reinventing the wheel and kind of making it better. If you look at most businesses, they're just like copies from pre-existing ones, but they probably got it right where those other guys got it wrong. So for me, I think research is key now. A lot of people love to read books that tell you about wealth, to tell you about maybe managing finances and stuff like that. But I think a lot of it has to do with action. You have to be able to put some of those things, and lifestyle as well. If your lifestyle is it doesn't really align with those books, what you see in those books is very difficult, no matter what you read.
What's your biggest weakness?
I think my biggest weakness would be delegating. I don't believe I can do everything, but it's just to just be sure that your team, you have the right people in the right, positions to make sure they can carry out a lot of these tasks without anything going wrong. So I think I have to work better at that, to delegate, because you need rest, and I don't think I get much rest, but everybody needs rest, believe me. So you can kind of calibrate and just, just kick off, on the right note every single morning. You have to be able to delegate, because when you talk about expansion, you can't be in more than one place at a time. So yeah, at some point you have to delegate. Mm-hmm. So you have to kind of start within. So I think that'll be my biggest weakness, delegating. And I don't think there's such a thing as working too hard, but you just have to work smartly. Because if you get burnt out, then you can't really bring much to the table.
Entrepreneurs.
Look how to solve it. We're already working on that now. I'm working on that mentally, just to be able to, spend more time, invest more time in people, right? And once they can kind of align with you, it gets easier, right? Because then they know how you think, and they're able to think on their own as well. And it's just easier to kind of go back and forth and delegate more tasks to them, because really people can't build confidence if they're not trusted with tasks, right? Or put in a position where they have to deliver. So I'm doing a whole lot of that now, and I'm gradually getting there, for sure.
And how do you fight it?
I think for most people that are doing business, they have to. Well, if you have a dream, number one, I think you should go for it. I think what slows most people down is finances. You're thinking you have to crawl before you can walk. You think I have this great idea, but it's going to cost me all this money. Where am I going to get it from? And most times they shut down. I always tell people money is the last thing. Once you have an airtight idea and it's pretty solid, you will find the money, and the money will certainly find you, because you have so many people with funding that don't, really have the ideas. And another thing is you have to be able to bet on yourself. You have sometimes you have access to funds or you have assets. If you really, really believe in yourself, sometimes you just have to take the risk. And that's what it's all about. Because if you're able to take the risk, other people can take risk, on you. But if you can't take risk on yourself, and you want everybody else to, take risk on you, sometimes it's a bit of a blurred line. So I would say determination. You have to be motivated and you have to be focused. Whatever your idea is, there's no idea that's stupid. If you look around you now, what you would consider silly 5 years ago, it's what's turned into billions of dollars now. Almost like all the newly innovated ideas and companies now. They're just like very basic stuff, but basic seems basic once it's become an idea that worked. But at the conception stage, it's not that easy to come up with those ideas. So then again, business is not for everybody.
Yeah.
You have to see what works for you.
Thank you for watching. That was a really great interview. More to come, but don't forget to check out the other ones on the channel and like and subscribe. And as usual, TNRI out.